Greetings, humanoids. This is Rudolf of Germany, the tall white alien. Planet Earth is a living creature and not a rock floating through space. It has two poles, just as a human has two brain halves, and it is being fed by ultra-low magnetic waves. Just as a human being has ultra-low magnetic brain waves, so does planet Earth has these waves moving from one pole to the next continuously. Interestingly, the frequency of Earth and the frequency of humans' ultramagnetic waves are the same, at a rate of 7.8 Hertz. At this rate, a human, an animal, and a plant can prosper accordingly in a natural and healthy environment, magnetic environment, not to be forgotten. Anything else will alter mind and body of living creatures on the surface of Earth. But this manipulation of the ultra-low magnetic fields is going on for many, many years. First, it was introduced to the population of this planet by extraterrestrials, and since about the beginning of last century, even humans are able technologically to manipulate vast areas of this planet have planted conductors and transmitters all over this planet. For example, a small elite which is, by means of the black intelligent oil, resistant to magnetic changes, have used this manipulation to control the masses, the population of this planet. One example, at 7.8 Hertz, this frequency, which is the natural one for Earth in general and humans as well, everything will go its proper course. But this elite is able now to heighten this frequency, let's say to about 10. At this, a human will be very irritated, starts becoming aggressive, prone to fights, and willing to get into war and kill his enemies. And if this elite is lowering the ultra-low magnetic waves to about 6, you will have a human being who is very apathic, depressed, not able to make decisions, and confused. Now you can imagine what kind of power a small group of humans by now, and before the turn of the last century, only extraterrestrial have, to control masses of people. Particularly in the last 20 to 30 years, there have been more transmitters installed all over the world. You see these domes sometimes, or for example also these antennas which are used to transmit radio waves for cell phones and so on. but sometimes these transmitters are also being used to manipulate the ultra-low magnetic field. So vast amounts of people can be under the influence of the readjustment of frequencies by a small group of people who are themselves immune to this manipulation. Otherwise, it would not take place. That has to be kept in mind. You are not going to use a poison, for example, on somebody or a group of people if you are drinking out of the same cup. For that, the intelligent oil is essential for these people to get their hands on, because this oil is extremely rare, and it has also two sides to it, which I will not speak of today because it would be just going too far, and I want to keep it simple. These people try to get a hold onto this oil because, as I said, it neutralizes the effects of a manipulation of the ultra-low magnetic waves. And this oil, as a artificial oil, is not normally occurring on Earth. This oil is also being controlled by the tall whites and another group of aliens which frequent this planet. As I said in my first video about this oil, it should not be in the hands and of use by humans, because the ones who are conscious about the power which they would gain through it would definitely, at least some of them, abuse it to the utmost. That means if I'm myself not receptive of changes in the atmosphere and of my mental capacity, I can abuse of pretty much anybody and everybody around me. This oil always has been referred to either to the stone of wisdom, which always been shown in black, which is a form of the oil. It's a manifested form of the oil. And it's also called the Holy Grail. But in the case of the Holy Grail is just a cup, which is called the Holy Cup because it contains this very powerful substance. Alchemists in the past have always tried to get a hand on this particular substance because they were very well aware of its importance, because even back then, 1,000 years ago, as I said, extraterrestrial forces manipulated people, manipulated the people of planet Earth with the heightens or the lowering of the ultramagnetic waves. And only the ones who had this oil and knew how to use it would be freed of delusion, fears, and diseases, and the shortening of life. I hope I explained a little bit more today about the significance of this oil and also of the viciousness of a small elitary group who not only uses television, internet, radio, and the press to manipulate people, but first lower down their intelligence and make them receptive for this kind of manipulation, particularly in a time of war or when there is an election going on, or they just want to dull down people in general. I wish you a pleasant day, and we will speak about this a little bit deeper next time. I wish you a good day. Rudolf of Germany.